Flames win! Flames win! Flames win! Another Biden gaffe and a whole lot more coming up on today's show. Want everybody to hear your stomach rumbling?
Press conference. We'll just have the one mic on, but
Which one do I turn on?
just two.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning to you.
How are you today?
Excellent.
Good.
Very well, thank you. Everything okay?
Yeah, everything's good.
Paperwork's good?
Yep. Let's do this.
Wade and Carter weather for Victoria brought to you by Deerland Feed Store for all your feed, seed, debugging, fertilizer, pocket knives, cattle prods, saddle tack. It goes on and on. Pet needs, dog and mane shampoo like Ash uses on his incredible mane.
Last two times I've been in there, people have been in there for ear mites for their cats, so it must be a problem. Time of year. But they have they have a product for that too.
Time to get a new cat. 75 degrees in Victoria, heading to a high today of 95. There you have it.
Nice.
You like my press conference look?
I do.
I just thought I'd throw that out there. It's kind of like it's
you look like Dr. Burks with that scarf on.
I feel like Dr. I'm identifying today as Dr. Burks. Now, is she thumbs up or thumbs down right now? Is Trump mad at her?
I don't think so.
I don't know. I'm just playing with this.
I think he must be mad at the pharmaceutical company.
He is, because he's not a pharma guy.
No.
He's saying he wants you to buy American drugs. Not Colombian.
No.
American. American beer.
Executive order, government's going to have to buy pharmaceuticals and essential drugs from U.S. companies.
The government has to?
Yeah.
Okay, so.
President Donald Trump signed an executive order requiring the federal government to buy essential drugs from U.S. companies.
Well, what about us?
No, we're good. But I guess if you're getting them through the government some way, military,
it's mostly
would that
symbolic. I think it's symbolic, but it's a good symbol.
I don't know all the details, but how would I, if I'm on Medicaid or Medicare and I'm getting my pharmacy, my prescription drugs, is the pharmacist going to have to make sure that he's prescribing or she's prescribing me drugs from the U.S. pharmaceutical company and not, I don't know, Santa Fe Aventis?
I'm with you.
How would that, I mean,
and yeah, why would you just set up like a shell company in the U.S. to sell drugs? Although maybe Trump's saying, I don't care. That makes U.S. companies money.
Yeah. An unfunded mandate to everybody else.
Unfunded mandate. He just made Ben Zeller roll over in his bed.
Scott Snow, good morning. Lisa Poole, Adam Daughtry, Scott Tomko, Bobby Leister, Judge Posey, Marvin Mickish, C.W. Bean, Jimbo Slice, Dave Garza, Chris Conrad. Condolences to you, sir. Your Jets lost. Now you can jump on the Flames bandwagon. Flames become the first team in the Western Conference, the NHL, to escape the qualifying round and move on to the Stanley Cup playoffs. Bobby Leister, the Leisterometer, still holding steady at 66. YouTubers, H.R. Mallory, good morning. Christina Wise. BJ Nelson, good morning to you. Robin Moore Knipling, Patrick Strauss. Are you going to join the show, or are you just going to sit there and text people?
I'm not texting people. There's a sub-show going on, okay? We're live on Magic 95.9. We're live on Facebook. We're live on Magic 95.9 Radio. We're live on YouTube. There was a video that I got, and I think you probably got it too, last night, where it appears that you can see a missile flying into that building in Beirut. Tell me what you saw. We go live to the man on the street. What do you see, sir?
he went running by real fast. I wasn't quite sure.
I said, don't look, Ethel, but it's too late. She caught him right there by the coffee shop.
That the missile you're talking about?
No, for real. That was a bottle rocket. Did you see that?
Yeah, I also saw a bunch of professional photographers. I think it was on a Reddit site. Debunk it.
There you go. That's why I brought it to you. You don't just see things and let that data go into your mind. You ferret out the facts. That's why you're here.
But I'm having a hard time believing that wasn't intentional. Ammonium nitrate doesn't just blow up by itself. It needs fuel and something to combust it.
Hydroxychloroquine.
Oh, is that what it was?
That's what it was.
From Turkey.
That Donald Trump sent there.
Because this country, for whatever reason, refuses to admit that hydroxychloroquine might work. But Turkish doctors, a huge study, and I don't know where it is now.
Allegedly.
It's out of Turkey. They've been using it from the minute.
There you have it. Live from Istanbul. It's Ash.
They've been prescribing hydroxychloroquine from the minute somebody's symptomatic. And
nobody died.
Well, not basically near to the number that the U.S. is dying.
Right. Adam Barker says the Clintons started the fire. That's where Hillary's server was.
I mean, you can't tell me, given all the pictures we see out of regions of Turkey at certain times, that the healthcare system in Turkey is exponentially better than that of the United States.
Right.
Yet their rate of people dying from COVID is about 1/6 of the number of Americans.
Well, and here's the next thing, Ash. When I listen to these people, these whiners that are going on and on and on about how that you and I don't understand. We don't understand that Donald Trump's response to the pandemic was so poor that's why the U.S. has such a high rate of death. And you and I figured out the other day that it was like 0.0005%, something like that, of the population.
Yeah.
At any rate, the idea that Donald Trump made somebody not wash their hands, Donald Trump made somebody not social distance. Donald Trump, didn't tell you to wear a mask. I mean, Donald Trump said, I'm not wearing a mask.
Donald Trump didn't make ventilators available.
Not to mention that ventilators, we've now learned, are the problem. We had a lot of deaths early because we were too prepared. People in New York are being put on ventilators when ventilators were the problem. They don't put you on a ventilator now, not as a cure, maybe as a last resort if you're dying.
Now should have been the time to bring in the Navy hospital ship and the mass large overflow hospital at Energy in Houston. Not when we brought them in and they all sat empty because we didn't need them, despite the panic that was induced by local government leaders who said our hospitals are being overrun when they weren't.
But do notice this, and there's no, you cannot continue to hide from the reality that the federal government is not your friend. And we'll get to Joe Biden and his opinions about things in a minute. But the federal government is not designed as it sits today to take care of you. They are there in competition with your civil liberties. And the reality is the federal government has used the fear that they helped instill in you against you. You cannot travel. You can't go here. This business isn't open. You've got to do this in public. It's all for the common good. If you're not part of the common good, you're part of the problem. What's next? And you may need to go to a re-education camp. You may need to go somewhere and be re-educated on how to be an American. You think it's impossible? So did Germany. Yes, they did. Trust me. I'm not worried about them coming down the streets and rounding us up.
No, a lot of Americans are, because gun sales are through the roof and you can't find any ammo.
There's no ammo anywhere. Could also be a systemic government plot.
Can't find any guns either. But I find it interesting that a week ago, before the Senate, or at least before Congress, I'm not sure if he was in front of the Senate, because I think Steve Scalise is a representative, a congressman, not a senator. But regardless, he was testifying in front of.
He also plays a little first base.
Yeah. Well, it's because he doesn't move as well.
Right, he's not a
center fielder anymore.
He was a rangy rover back in the day, but after that 308, he's now a first baseman.
Yeah, but he can still swing a bat.
Right.
In fact, he can clear his side a little bit better.
He's right, because they took out that one rib. Isn't it interesting how
Fauci basically said, I've been involved in every decision that the government has made, yet it's all Trump's fault.
Yeah, these people are so stupid. There are a bunch of sheep in this country. It's an amazing thing to me that this country was built by leaders. This country was built by people that make things happen. You look around now and these kids today, I tell you, if World War II happened again, they'd all sit and cry. They'd all just sit and cry. There's nobody there to step up. We still have our military, don't get me wrong, but we don't have the basic character in America these days to fight for what's right. Because you got to fight for your right to pardon. A little quiet riot.
That's all it was.
It was.
I think you're right.
Or was that come on,
that was.
I don't
somebody
know.
Who knows hair bands.
Somebody help us.
Larry Leahy, Christina Wise, good morning.
We can't get back into rock and roll. We'd be there all day.
Adam Daughtry.
By the way, John Lewis finally laid to rest, almost eclipsing the laying in state of one James Brown, the godfather of soul. When I'm gone, I'm done, right? Don't parade me around. I know there'll be throngs in the streets crying, sobbing, throwing flowers.
Tears of joy.
I don't need that. I don't require that. When I'm gone, I'm gone.
Just put me in a nice urn.
You can bet on this. So I'm going to burn out. I'm not going to rust out.
I've threatened my kids that I'm going to will it that they have to make a nice piece of jewelry out of my ashes, like they can do,
or a nice fondue.
Yeah, and you got to wear me
a nice fondue.
Jimmy Driscoll, good morning. Scott Tomko.
Hello, Jimmy Driscoll. Where's the tea light? Is she in?
I don't know. I'm still looking. Diane Tippett, good morning. Jody Pickett, good morning.
Get to work.
Michael Jolly.
There's my Aunt Betty.
There's your Aunt Betty.
What did she say?
What did she say? Just praying that they don't hear you and take you off of Facebook.
Yeah, they've done that before, Aunt Betty. There's certain subjects. We talked about Zuckerberg one day and our feed got interrupted. Zuckerberg. What else did we talk about?
Beastie Boys. That's right, Jimbo Slice. Thank you.
What else did we talk about that was, I think Beastie Boys was a remake.
PJ Nelson says the participation trophies have not taught people how to win.
Well, there's a lot of truth in that.
Lisa Poole says Twisted Sister. Fonseca says Beasties.
Well,
Karen Webb
Fonseca knows. He still listens.
Karen Webb says good morning.
It's not classic rock to him. It's what he listens to. They don't call him Fonzie for nothing.
Hey. I wonder how much did he get that as a kid?
Hey.
You think?
Well, what's funny is when you see him now and you think, oh, yeah, he was tough. He's like 5 foot nothing. Although he's very funny and has made a ton of money as a director and stuff. Henry Winkler, quite a Hollywood guy.
Yeah, he was good.
Ain't no Harvey Weinstein.
No.
He ain't no Harvey.
Didn't have to be. He was so cool.
Harvey reminds me of that guy in Myers, what's his name? Mark Myers?
Mike Myers?
Mike Myers with Dr. Evil. And he's like,
Austin Powers.
I want the little one.
Fat bastard.
That guy, fat bastard. That's Harvey Weinstein. I want him in my belly. My belly.
Jody Pickett brings something up, and I'll get into this before our break. She says, "Do you remember the Canada Fitness Testing Participation Patch? It was called, I believe it was called Participation.
Participation.
Yeah, Canada was good. Canada was good at bringing stuff like that together, right?
Yeah, like Deer Nuts, Alberta.
And it was I think all the way. I didn't do it in high school. I don't remember. I remember elementary school and junior high having to do this, and it was a series of tests in PE class.
Pull-ups, push-ups, jumping
flex
jacks.
arm hang.
I remember that.
All that stuff. And if you got certain times or levels of ability, you got a bronze, a silver, or a gold. For those who were less athletically inclined, they came up with a red and black with gold, silver, and bronze.
It was real pretty.
It was, and it was the participation ribbon for everybody else.
Now, when you got yours, did you put it on a little vest and wear it?
No, there was no room.
When we were in elementary school, they had the Presidential Fitness Award. I never got it. I was always like close. I couldn't do the pull-ups. I had no upper body strength. I was just skinny. But the girls all got it. All the girls got it. They were all just good athletes. By the way,
I was good at the flexed arm hang. I would just focus on that bar.
So participation patch became Participatch, right? Yeah. Is that how you got Moose Roids, Alberta?
Yes.
Moose Roids, Alberta. Okay, now I understand. I got it.
You got it now?
I got it. If you need to get it, call Allen's Rigger Service.
He can tell that to Whisky Saskatchewan if he needs to.
6,300. 578-6300. Thank goodness Janet and Allen don't listen to the show. They probably hate their spot every day. But everybody knows when we say Allen's Wrecker Service, that's how people call them. They've told me. People have called and said, is this Allen's Wrecker Service? And then they hang up. 578-6300. That's the one you need. I talked to Jim Hartman yesterday. The VCS Company's Rocket Oilfield Services and the only locally owned and authorized AT&T retailer would tell you so many of you have been so faithful to be in prayer and send thoughts and comments to the Hartman family. They appreciate all of that. JR, Amy, the kids, Ryan. Just so you know, Ryan had an excellent report yesterday. And is basically cancer-free.
Good.
I mean, got the reports. All those numbers are good. Now is having to basically be re-exposed, re-vaccinated, and all that because of it's like having a new system. But a complete reset, and you can see
that's great to hear
with our friends on Facebook. So fantastic deal. And if you need anything that communicates, as you hear us say every day, reach out to the VCS companies. We're so blessed to have them as our banner sponsor. SCT Building Systems, 564-8864.
I took a little more detailed look. I didn't go into the backyard of this place on Levi Sloan. But
you're a stalker.
Well,
is she hot?
There's nobody living there.
Whatever.
But the patio cover that SCT Building Systems put in the backyard of this home on Levi Sloan.
Right. It's a vacant house. It's like somebody.
It's being renovated. It's been there a while, but it overlaps the roof, so it's going to drain onto the roof and into the gutter. It's got gutters around it, so it's going to catch rain. But this thing isn't going anywhere.
It's on lockdown.
Oh, it's well constructed.
American steel.
Built by American workers on American pharmaceuticals.
Place to chain your king, your Kavanaugh. Give me another Kavanaugh of Big Love Ultra.
I mean, this thing is rock solid construction. I'm impressed.
There you go.
If you need any construction that involves steel, give SCT Building Systems a call.
564-8864. And then, of course, Chesnick Furniture Company. I do know that Bobby Leon listens, and I'm proud of our affiliation with a 100-year-old Victoria company that's still family-owned and operated. Not like Atzenhofer. Not like those slackers at Atzenhofer who have been here 94 years.
Yeah.
Okay, Chesnick's been here 100 years. Chesnick and Love make your house a home, and you just do better at Chesnick Furniture. 116 West Juan Lynn, corner of Juan Lynn and Bridge. Get down there this weekend.
Jimbo Slices, you know how hard it is to do a set of bench presses and hear us talk about Fat Bastard and Deer Nuts?
Deer Nuts, well.
Hope you didn't drop them on your windpipe.
They're not expensive. They're just under $1. Yeah, there we probably getting cut off.
No.
T-Lad, good morning, sweetheart.
I was just seeing also, Monica Joe's, Marvin Mickers, good morning, Larry Leahy.
My wife is the most patient person on the planet and very competitive, very opinionated, and I love her for that. And yet she bites her tongue better than anybody I've ever known.
Amy Monday, good morning.
There are people that should appreciate that.
Judge Posey checking in. Good morning to you. Chris
Hello,
Conrad.
Judge.
Had to be a tough night for Chris Conrad.
So I know you want to ask me about my ascot.
No, I was going to say Adam Sugar checked in and he says, T-Lat, it's time to take the old man shopping because your maternity shirts are not showing off your new physique.
This is not a
So it's a backhanded compliment from Adam Sugar.
I don't know what he's talking about. I've gotten to where now there's certain things. Okay, so I'm not a fashion snob, but you know that I like to clean up. I'll tell you that my latest offerings in shirts are from Peter Millar. I find them to be comfortable. The materials are nice. And I like a brand called Burlebo, Burlebo. And you can get Burlebo online. Or, by the way, at Melvin's as well. So
where's Burlebo? This is the guy that bugs Canadians about Deer Nuts, Alberta, but he wears something called Burlebo.
There's two people. Like there's a guy named, somebody, Todd Burley. And so it's the two dudes. It'd be like we had Waydeco, same kind of thing. Waydecar, same kind of thing. But Burlebo is a very comfortable, it's the T-shirts that just fit right, like ours. You know how people tell you all the time they just like the Wade Carter T-shirts. I called the other day. We have such a great relationship with Compadres Design Inc., and you should too. And I called the other day and said, hey, it's Garrett. I mean, I'm not dealing with Mr. Soule here. I'm not dealing with Big J. I'm just dealing with Garrett, who will remain nameless.
The reason for that.
Yeah, because it's not like we have our own account rep. It's like we're that far down the chain that they're just like, just give it to Garrett. He'll do anything. I said, Garrett, we getting close on our shirts? And he was like, hey, don't push it, old man. You can't rush quality. I think we're a couple of weeks out on some new swag.
Chris Conrad thanks you for steering the convo away from my hockey comments because
Flames.
He's a Jets fan.
This time of year, I'm a Flames fan. You know what we're going to hear later? I'm telling you what's going to happen. 2 years ago, maybe 3 years ago now, Ash comes in one morning. Flames suck. I'm like, what's wrong, Ash? Need a new goalie. Goalie sucks. You were down for a couple of weeks over that deal. But you're like a closet general manager. And what I've found about the Flames, for real, in general, they end up making the moves that you allude to in the offseason. I think they have good management.
No, I'm in some ways, I think they haven't made all the moves. I think they always overspend on an aging
maternity shirt.
Yeah, he's saying you've lost weight and your shirts are not slimming enough.
I thought he was saying that these C cups on Sport Now maybe I could breastfeed a small family.
Well, there was
Easy.
I think it's on Ben Jordan.
Easy.
There's a billboard about breastfeeding, and I swore it was you.
Right, thank you. I do the football. You just lay there. The football. I thought that was funny.
I had to look twice.
Dawn would have done the tennis ball.
Jimbo Slice says you're like Fred from Scooby-Doo.
Yeah, Fred.
You drive the mystery machine.
You look back at Scooby-Doo. We loved it, okay? We loved it. So Scooby-Doo was just like Stan Lee that Ash has. Let's just go through them. Let's just go through them. You had Shaggy, blatant stoner. Dude was always had the munchies, straight up. Always, hey man, let's get something to eat. He's always stoned.
Well, think about it. Scooby Snacks, they were into edibles long before edibles ever became commonplace and were called edibles.
Then Daphne, she was the dumb one, but she was the pretty one. And Fred didn't hit on her because Fred was gay. Come on.
And then you had and then what was Velma?
Velma. I mean, there you go.
If they did a reboot of like 20 years later, Velma would be the swan.
She'd be the one that
becomes what
comes out hot at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's just the way they roll in Hollywood.
Christina Wise says, of course, they saw a ghost. And I'd have gotten away with it too if it wasn't for those meddling kids.
Dang teenagers.
Every time. Get in the mystery machine, that you get in the van and just get stoned.
And here's the thing, we never got sick of it. Every time you knew they were going to unmask somebody.
It's Mr. Snerdley.
But they did a good job of keeping you guessing on who it was going to be. It was pretty witty writing.
Nothing
you
better.
Really think about it. It was never that obvious who it was.
Simply nothing better. Period. I challenge you to bring it to me. You don't like what I'm saying here. Flintstones, best ever. Not even close. Nothing close. Hey, Fred. Nothing even close to Barney and Fred.
No, even though The Simpsons is the longest running animated series ever.
It's too topical. You know, The Simpsons, no. Fred,
too topical. The Simpsons has sort of been.
And Margarock.
Simpsons has kind of been psychic with some of the things they predicted.
Yeah, that is kind of weird.
Isn't it?
And Margarock. I think you just think about the most extreme things you can think of. And The Simpsons
have done it.
Yeah, and that's what's happened.
Don says we are Barney and Fred.
Rock in Vegas. T-Lad said that?
Yep.
Hey, Fred.
Stony Curtis,
Rock.
They didn't have to fix Rock Hudson. He was already Rock.
Right.
No, I was a huge fan of the Flintstones.
Still. I mean, I thought I had grown up when I learned that it was Hanna-Barbera and not Hanna-Barbera.
It was two dudes, not two ladies, right?
Yeah.
BJ Nelson's wondering if Compadres would do a banner for her voter registration gig. I'm sure they would.
Sure they would. Probably about $300. I'm kidding. BJ's turning this into there's going to be like a celebrity sighting.
Michael Jolly says the monster was literally the first person the gang met in each episode.
Right.
Don't. Where's the spoiler alert, Michael?
Did you see where somebody help me out? Ryan Reynolds, pretty good actor, interesting guy. He and his wife apologized for being married at what used to be a plantation back in the day. They apologized. And they got married 8 years ago, Ash. 8 years ago. It's not like they got married last Saturday and said, oops. They got married 8 years ago and apologized for their short-sightedness on racial issues and that they're just we're terrible people. Then they went back inside their gated compound, turned on YouTube. Contrast that with Joe Biden.
Yeah.
Tell you what, let's take a break and then we'll get to Joe, because we can talk about Joe for hours. What won't take hours is your lunch at Veracruz. I went again yesterday. Yesterday was Commissioner Ives' 40th birthday. T-Lad and I took him to lunch. He was offensive as usual. Wonderful. I had the ground beef taco salad without chips, a dollop of guacamole, and some Serranos.
Nice.
Commissioner Ives had the Veracruz platter. They brought him 2 plates.
One of everything.
A chalupa, a taco, 2 cheese enchiladas, rice, and beans. We got out for under $300. I recommend Veracruz today for lunch because if you don't go today, you're not going till next week.
Nope.
And that's too long. That's like Wolf Brand chili, baby. That's too long. You got to get into Veracruz today. 576-6015.
That is not a fair comparison.
Wolf Brand chili. Remember that? How long has it been since you had a steaming bowl of Wolf Brand chili?
Not long enough was always my answer to that.
That's too long. Razor IT Solutions, get a hold of JP Hull. I talked to JP yesterday. He has been swamped. I told him it was because of Wade and Carter. He said maybe so. Reach out to JP. Razor IT Solutions can help you with your analytics.
And then he looked at his analytics and he said, nope.
Technically, no, it's those pesky Asians. Yeah. The Asians, the Russians, the Indians, they're all trying to get into your data. He can help you with encryption and help you understand what you're seeing. There's HR Mallory, Rob Mallory. I remember yesterday, young Colton came in with HR.
Yep.
And we had a great visit with him. Well, he went on and started about his day. Well, yesterday afternoon, T-Lat and I made a quick HEB run and ran into Lindsay. And I said, hey, what's going on? I had to get out of the house. Colton's on a roll. And she said, Rob's been gone part of the week, blah, blah, blah. Well, you saw the kid eat 3 pounds of Cocoa Puffs.
Yeah.
Which is just chocolatized, balled up sugar. No wonder the kid was wired.
Kid crack.
Yeah, beautiful kid. Tell you what, reach out to Razor IT Solutions. What did BJ Nelson say?
She says she gets that salad to go at least once a month.
There you go. That's why we're so fit, BJ. Ads and Offer Dealership since 1926. We alluded to it earlier. 94 years of automotive excellence in the Victoria region. Not just people come from all over this area. The same 6 counties that White Trash Services serves. People also come from Rockport and Holiday Beach to buy Cadillacs, Mazdas, Chevys, and Mitsubishis. And if you're in search of a very lightly used pre-owned vehicle, the Ads and Offer Dealership is your home.
If you need a fleet of cars, trucks, heavier duty vehicles for your business, they can accommodate that as well.
Well, what happens is you may go over
there. They do a lot of like fleet vehicles.
And
a lot of, well, I don't know what they do anymore because I think Ford ended up with the police responders, but they do a lot of the SUVs for.
Oh, yeah, lots and lots of like Tahoes and things.
For police.
We don't spend a lot of time talking about Ads and Offers fleet business, but listen to this because this is a statement of truth. The folks that buy fleet vehicles, they know. And they buy so many vehicles from Ads and Offer that it allows Ads and Offer to be very competitive on the personal level. They sell fleets and fleets of those white trucks you see running all around the oil field. That pays the overhead. That allows them to pass savings on to you. They love seeing that red, white, and blue A on the back of a car around town. Reach out to the Ads and Offer Dealership.
We do too, because that means we haven't put them out of business yet.
Exactly, like we did in Torrent Bales. We mentioned White Trash Services, BJ Nelson, 550-1826, Scott Nelson, the Roll-Off Queen. You've got a whole family of families.
Pen Queen.
They've got it all. Roll-Off Queen. Yeah, Pen Queen. You need a pen?
Go see the Roll-Off Queen.
That's all you got to do. 550-1826. White Trash Services solves all your county trash needs, and BJ Nelson always wishes you a trash-tastic day. We're going to continue. This is gaining momentum. It's going to happen soon. BJ Nelson appointed a registrar, also a delegate. She's all these things. She's very involved. But we're going to have Ms. Nelson come here to the studio in the parking lot. You can do drive-through voter registration. You can drop off your mail-in ballot. We'll fill it out, mail it in for you.
We'll gather them all up, make sure you fill them out correctly.
You just sign it. We'll take care of the rest. But BJ Nelson's going to do that. We've been promised, or it's been proposed, that Matt Cantu and the great folks at Bomb Diggity might bring out some breakfast fare. If those things happen, if that all comes together, then there will be mass social distancing in the Magic 95.9 studio parking lot, right now known as the Wade and Carter Motorway. Wade and Carter Parkway, right there off of Sabine Street.
You just brought something up.
I did?
When it comes to the mail-in ballot.
Sure. Sign it, Grandma.
How many people, and then this is a serious question or scenario. Maybe it's both, because I'm Canadian and we do that. Deer nuts participation.
Right.
I just want to check and make sure you filled out your ballot correctly before we seal the envelope, or I'll mail it for you, but I want to take a look and make sure.
Rewrite it. Sure, could happen. Yep. There'll be rampant familial.
And here's the part that bothers me, because, and you get this on both sides. Local Democrat Party activist, local Republican Party activist drives a van up to the old folks' home and they take a van load of folks to go vote, right?
Right.
Well, gee, which way do you think those votes are skewing?
To the left.
Well, or to the right. If it's a Republican picks them up, but You don't think that that's going to happen here as well? I don't know. That just bothers me.
So here's one. We do public service.
I'm sure it does already happen, Jim. I mean, when you think about it, and I would guess, and I'm making some assumptions here, but probably mostly with older folks. But I could see other people taking advantage of it too. You have somebody who might be of voting age, but is incapacitated to make a vote. You request a mail-in ballot on their behalf, fill it out, so you now have 2 votes instead of 1 in an election.
We could do a parody song about let go of my ballot, like let go of my tutu. So real quick public service announcement. It's what the show was founded on, was getting things out for Victoria. We don't mind doing it at all, folks. If you have something coming up and you want to promote it, we'll promote it. We don't bill you for that.
No.
If it's an event now, if we go, that event sucks, nobody's going, then we won't promote it. But if we know that it's a good event, here we are. Now, this is a hybrid because, number one, we're going to promote this event no matter how we felt about it, which we do feel good about it. But Bill Posey, Navy SEAL, told us to do it, so we're doing it. Dale Zook.
I didn't just tell us.
He commanded it.
Exactly. Ordered us.
I'll hold it out here where I can read it. It says, a message from Victoria GOP Chair Bill Posey. That would be Bill Posey, the SEAL.
That would be. Also the chair.
We would like to invite all Victorians to Veracruz Restaurant. For those of you that don't know, that's 3110 North Navarro. For a Trump mini rally tomorrow morning. That's Saturday morning. Tomorrow morning. Between 9 and 11. Join the GOP Latinas for Trump. Latinas for Trump outreach team from Houston. We will be celebrating the upcoming election day. Come by and pick up Trump signs, Trump bumper stickers, Trump flags, and other campaign items. And you can register to vote here. Join the Latinas for Trump at the Veracruz Restaurant tomorrow morning. Keep Texas red. Now, nothing.
Wait a second.
Nothing speaks equal opportunity like Wade and Carter promoting Latinas for Texas. Latinas for Trump at Veracruz on a Saturday morning when Veracruz isn't even going to be open.
Well, that's got to be fake news because if you listen to the Democrats, Trump's a racist. How can you be Latina and support Trump?
No, because Joe Biden told us that Latinas have diversity of thought. It's the black people who all think alike. Wait till you hear this, people. You're not going to believe it.
Yes, and by the way, what you all know, but most people don't know, unlike the African-American community, with notable exceptions, the Latino community is an incredibly diverse community with incredibly different attitudes about different things. Yes, and by the way,
different thoughts about different things, some with queso, some without. I would argue that in continuity of thought, if you're going to stereotype a portion of the community, I think on the stuff that matters, really, hard work, families, dads at home with their kids, I think the Latino community is much more cohesive of thought than I would try to stereotype any other community.
H.R. Mallory says he covered himself when he said notable exceptions.
Yeah, with notable exceptions like Oprah, who's a capitalist, but wants to be a socialist now that she's got her billions.
She got hammered last week by the
because she's stupid. I mean, why would you say that? You're still white. You've got your whiteness. I don't care if you're Bill Gates. You still got your whiteness. Now, I do
understand. So there's a black woman who has made billions in America.
Yeah.
While being black and a victim of systemic racism.
I do understand this statement. And I don't have a direction to go with a defense. I understand the statement that no matter what has ever happened to me in my life, no matter what negative event has befallen me, it has not been made worse because I'm white. And I think that you've got to be objective enough to look in the mirror and say, that, and I wouldn't say this, I don't say this about the Mexican American or the Latino community, the Hispanics, the Mexicans, whatever you want to call them. I don't say this about the Mexican community either. I will go into the positive and say, I'm fairly secure that there are a number of people in this country who have been in situations that were made worse because they were black. I do believe that. And I know that's not a big stretch. You can all agree with me that the story would be the white guy and the black guy each do the same thing. Chances are better the black guy's going to get beat up by the popo. I do agree with that. But I also add it's because the popo has a long memory, and the popo knows that when they walk up to whitey in general and say, hit the floor, they don't get a lot of lift. People get on the floor. But this idea that Joe Biden has said that all blacks...
You look at the videos on social media, who's giving all the lip to the police.
Saying if it's the white guy, then club him upside the head too. That's my whole point. Don't argue with the popo. You always have the remedy of saying yes, sir, no, sir, and listening to the police.
Imagine if Donald Trump had said, unlike the African American community, with notable exceptions, the Latino community is an incredibly diverse community. Racist.
He's a racist.
This guy gets a free pass every time he shoves his leg in his mouth.
Do you remember when Joe Biden said, when Joe Biden said, poor kids are every bit as smart as white kids? Why not? Poor kids are every bit as smart as wealthy kids. Why do the non-poor kids have to be white, Joe? Because you've been in Congress 43 years. All you've been surrounded with is people with privilege and money. Most of them have been white. And you just think of poor kids as being those blacks and Latinos. That's what Joe Biden thinks. But yet the blacks and Latinos are lining up to vote for this clown who can't complete a sentence. It is the most amazing phenomenon on the planet. Some people are going to vote for Joe Biden because he's not Donald Trump. Okay, you're stupid. Some people are going to vote for Joe Biden because they truly believe that Joe Biden is going to bring about hope and change. He's all there for the young people. He's all there for those that are just trying to get by.
He can relate. 78-year-old white dude can relate to the 18-year-old.
70-year-old white dude with a crackhead son who was living off Ukraine while Joe was doing quid pro quo with the president's money. And he's been in Congress 43 years, and you people think he can relate to your problems? Now, neither can Donald Trump, but nobody's voting for Donald Trump because he feels sorry for you. People are voting for Donald Trump because he stands up for America. Joe Biden is a clown. I would debate Joe
40
Biden.
40 years of promising, and nothing's changed. It's been empty promises. You don't give your friends that kind of leeway when it comes to continually letting you down, but our voters do.
He has been adamantly and smugly on both sides of every issue. I watched an interview with him back when his hair plugs were really fresh.
Yeah.
And he made the comment, he goes, I don't even know why we're debating this. It's next week in Congress. Like, we don't have something to do. Everybody knows, and I voted for the fact that marriage is obviously between a man and a woman. He's so adamant. Now he's like, we have to reach out to our LGBTQ friends. Flip-flop, flip-flop. A man of zero character, zero.
This is a guy who led the way to prison reform. And 30 years later, his prison reform bill is probably a big reason for the rates of incarceration in this community.
There you go. Christopher Conrad says, we call them limousine liberals. Biden's, Clinton's, Hines family. Yeah, look at John Kerry. I've got to give the guy credit. I mean, he married for money twice. Twice, dude.
Yeah. Listen to this headline, salon.com, very left-leaning, and I would bet you they did not make any connection to Hunter Biden and the 1.5 billion he got from China and the millions he got from Russia. You think all that money stayed with Hunter Biden, or you think it somehow ended up in Joe's pocket?
No. It didn't go to Joe, because remember, Joe Biden said, he's always extreme, folks. I never talk to my son about his dealings in Ukraine. That's what he said.
Well, you don't have to talk to him to accept the wire transfer into your bank account.
Talk to my son about his dealings in Ukraine.
Matt Boucher checking in. But Salon is a big issue with a Michigan GOP candidate, John James, who recently, listen to the headline. Michigan GOP candidate who downplayed ties to DeVos, referring to Betsy DeVos, our Department of Ed secretary, hires her niece after getting $1 million cash infusion. So even the headline makes you think that he got the money from Betsy DeVos to hire her niece, right? Mm-hmm. Then you read the story and finally they get into it that, way down at the bottom.
He's reading the story for the first time.
No, I read it yesterday.
He's making his.
But he got the money from the girls' side of the DeVos family, which they're I think they're brother to
the Rockefeller,
to Betsy, right, or brother-in-law.
Okay,
right. So anyway, way down the chain, no ties to Betsy DeVos at all.
Right.
I could see if he hired, but still, it wouldn't have mattered. He's running for Senate. He hires his girl as a campaign communications person, which a lot do. Very little experience because they can get them on the cheap. Let's be honest. Try to run pretty lean campaigns.
$15 an hour.
Because you try to get your money into your campaign. But way down, they finally get into that. The last paragraph of the story. Almost. Close to. Now I gotta find it.
See, folks,
James has not received any direct contributions from Trump's education chief, Betsy DeVos.
Where we get in trouble, she has a relative that gave some money to the guy.
Yeah,
but that's from Donald Trump.
And that makes
Donald Trump's broke.
But that makes him a bad guy. Joe Biden can go over there and to the Ukraine and tell the Ukrainian government, money's not coming if you don't back off my kid.
Folks, when I know it's going to be a long show, and today is that example, when I know it's going to be a long show, is when Ash is scrolling through those stories that he finds, those stories where he would say to me, here's an interesting idea. When you tell these stories, have a point. You know how he does that to me? Ash is scrolling through, and all of a sudden there's like a little pop-up ad that says, the cast of Cheers, see what they look like now. And he goes down that rabbit trail. He's looking at pictures of Ted Danson. He's looking at what's going on with
you said hair plugs, and
he's going down that rabbit trail. It makes the show. I'm like trying to get him back on what's going on with DeVos, and he's down there looking at Coach.
Kirstie Alley's really let
he's
himself
looking
go.
At Kirstie Alley, she's gotten fat. No, wait, she's skinny again. Wait, she's fat. Unbelievable. There it is. I think that out for Steve Kidder. Have we seen Steve Kidder this week?
No, I don't know that we have.
Steve Kidder, if you're there, give us a click. Give us a ping. It's like having Steve Kidder on a submarine.
Jimbo Slice says Soros is paying $25 an hour for actor protesters.
There's no doubt. And, I've seen some of that. Just lets me know how much white people look alike. But I've seen a bunch of those. Did you see this guy? He was at the shooting over in so-and-so. And this guy was at the shooting at Columbine. This guy was at the bombing in Boston. And you see it, it's always the same guy.
All white people look alike.
And there's that one lady that has the dark hair and it's always up in a bun. Her name's like Frau Helga, something like that. Just saying. Let's wrap this up with, how about this, Uncle Mutt's today. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, get through the drive-through. Jonathan's going to be cooking meat. That pit stays hot all the time. There's meat on it all the time.
Drive-throughs open 7 days a week. Around 11 o'clock, they get rolling.
Make it around to it. Don't go in there like 10 o'clock and you're going to get a BLT
you'll sit at that squawk box for a while.
That ain't happening. Get over there at 10:30, 11 o'clock.
I went by there yesterday. Had a craving for barbecue. Stopped by, grabbed some brisket, a couple sides.
Can't go wrong.
No, I didn't go wrong.
What size did you get? Wait, no. You got Uncle Butt's rice.
Yep.
Fried corn.
Nope.
What'd you get?
Grilled potatoes and Uncle Butt's rice.
Oh my goodness, were they good?
The grilled potatoes. That might be my favorite side there. I'm gonna have to switch it up next time.
You know what I'd
I
like
almost
to do?
went for the green beans and the boiled cabbage, but I said, you know what, I'll go rice and potatoes.
Andy Schneider says he's tired of conspiracy theories. I agree.
The FBI declared conspiracy theory as a terrorist threat.
I would like to take some potatoes. I don't want a hash brown. What I want to do is
Julienne them?
cut them down thin, get a little oil, some onion, some garlic, get them on a flat griddle, get them around like that, and then chop up.
It's good sound effects.
And then throw that
theater of the mind.
Cover in, mix in some chopped up brisket, maybe some cheese.
Cheese and then sour cream and barbecue sauce. So almost like a loaded baked potato, but not quite.
Right.
Your
Cardiac casserole.
It's got a good ring to it.
I like it. So does Gray Barn Design. 920-6803. Reach out to Cheryl. Let her make your next party a great event.
Dates are filling. I'm telling you. She had a meeting yesterday. She had one the evening before. People are starting to plan their weddings and events again.
Remember, you can't cancel your party because of COVID if you don't book it first.
Exactly.
920-6803. Call Cheryl. Go, Cheryl, I need to have a party for 2,000. I'd like to rent the Astrodome. Get all your stuff and go, aside COVID. Anyway, reach out to Cheryl, 920-6803. She doesn't do this for fun, folks. She's great at it. She doesn't need practice. She's ready to do your event. If you've got a corporate event, this is something else you can do. It's that extra touch. You've got a group of clients coming in. Let Cheryl plan the meeting. It may be something very subtle. Maybe it's a centerpiece that reflects your company's values. Maybe it's she'll visit with you, ferret out what you want your company to represent, and then decorate the room accordingly, subtly. She'll handle the catering. She'll handle the delivery. She'll handle the cleanup. 920-6803. Don't try to do this yourself. Go do what you do and let her do what she does.
Because you know what you'll end up with. If that was you or I, plate of cookies in the corner.
It would look
picture
like
of tea on the table.
I told you that the city of Victoria, when we had the reception at the Victoria Community Center for the 3 candidates, and I think we hired the right one, Jesus Garza. Yippee. There was over in the corner over there, they had the partition about 2/3 of the way pushed back. They had some punch. Dale Fowler was trying to spike the punch. It's a crazy deal. But they had the table over there with one white, and it was still in the plastic deal. Like they didn't even go to Halapaskas. They went to like Walmart and put the lid underneath, and the cookies were just there. Paul Pelosi had like 14 oatmeal raisins. Yeah, it's crazy. But he's a runner. He was going to go run.
Need that energy, burn it off.
Wind services, wind generators, wind solar panels, wind battery backups.
Generac, Briggs & Stratton, Kohler. Probably missing a couple, but they've got
Wind could pay
many brands.
Chris Berman to say back, but he's got us for much less. You need a generator. It is generator season. Reach out to Wint, and he'll take care of all your needs. And in USA Concrete Coatings, I brought you a pamphlet. Folks, this is a real deal. Look, one-day floors. We've got it. Whether you're doing decking around your pool, in your garage, easy to clean, 100% antibacterial, antimicrobial, and easy on the feet.
Way stronger than epoxy. It won't chip, it won't peel.
Look how good it looks in that garage. This is awesome. Charlie Garcia, doesn't cost anything. Get a quote. 578.
Home.
It's that easy.
USA Concrete Coatings.
Like Rush
You done?
Like Rush Limbaugh. Right here in my hand. I listen to Rush Limbaugh because
BJ Nelson asked if they clean the garage up first.
Yes, yeah, it's worth $5,000 just for you to. Can you haul that off? Don't bring that back. I'll tell you that when you and I do this, we marvel all the time. For you, it's 1 cup of coffee. Honest, it's 1 cup of coffee and it's 1 hour, and it flies by because we have a blast interacting with y'all. You guys have gotten to where now you give us stuff as an audience. It's fun for us. There's Caleb Shaw.
He says he's just here for your segues. Simply the best.
Well, I appreciate that. And we love you, Caleb. And, I haven't talked to you. I heard you were at BCS yesterday because Dawn said she heard you down the halls.
Oh, his voice is that recognizable.
He is. He's Caleb Shaw. He is an important media person in this town.
Hey, BJ makes a good point. USA Concrete Coatings can clean out the garage and White Trash will haul it off for you.
There you go. See, it's synergy, and you get it all with a discount by mentioning Wade and Carter. Here's the deal. When you listen to Rush Limbaugh, and you realize that dude does, with stage 4 cancer, that dude does 4 hours a day, 5 days a week. And he does it with that assumptive, with talent on loan from God. I'll argue with the Democrats with one arm tied behind, half my brain tied behind my back. He is just
levels the playing field.
Phenomenal. He's a phenomenal talent. No doubt has earned his place as the biggest radio guy ever.
Yeah. One of them, Howard Stern, right up there.
Yeah, I agree. Howard Stern, just the shock jock. A little different deal. Don Imus was big for a while.
Listen to this. This, like I said this yesterday, it's a job board for, I think, Creative Access it might be the name of the job board. They've got some opportunities for internships. Nope, I don't know if they're paying gigs or not. Over in England, BBC Natural History, trainee researcher internship, BBC Current Affairs, production management assistant, BBC Natural History, trainee researcher. Listen to the requirements to apply for this. All roles advertised through Creative Access are only open to UK nationals, which I understand is your UK company, from a Black, Asian, or non-white ethnic minority.
Can't be white.
Can't be white.
Do you not see, does anybody else have a problem with the idea that now, in the name of leveling the playing field, that there are people that put out lists of Black-owned businesses for you to support? Doesn't that almost insinuate that if you don't go to that business that you're racist? I mean, why can't we just all be Americans? I'll tell you, let me tell you what happens. The Black folks that step up and say, I'm just an American, you know who they end up being? Lieutenant colonels, people like that. They end up being Vanessa Hicks Callaway. They end up being former Congressman Alan West, now the head of the GOP. Alan West would love to debate with you about how skin color affected his ability to get things done. He'd love to. You ask Alan West, would you rather be like you are or a white guy in a wheelchair? No, I'll take my ability to get around. I'll take my chances.
Chris Conrad says fighting racism with racism.
That's
the irony is not lost on me either.
Caleb Shaw said he likes listening to me even with that thing around his neck. Caleb, all this is a fishing gator. So I'm going to show you guys this one. Now I've got my mask.
Well, now you've got a career in TV ahead of you.
Right? I see what you did there. You people better be glad. You people better be glad that I've got this unbelievably perfect for me, not a perfect person, unbelievably perfect for me wife. And that I get my ego gratification by hanging out with my wife. They say that you spend so much of your time at work that those friends become the ones that really build you up, because you people you treat me so bad. Feel like Sally Field. No.
Only teasing
because you sing that song, In the Arms of a Stranger.
No, I can't.
You cry when you watch that dog commercial.
I don't watch that dog commercial.
That's because it makes you cry.
That's exactly why.
Is this the place where Shane doesn't come back?
Is this where Old Yeller goes on?
Right.
Yep. Now let's lighten it up at the end of the show here. I thought it was interesting. This from the Sports Business Journal. Bud Light spent more on advertising during Major League games in less than 2 weeks than it did all of last season.
So
with
you're
the
saying
reboot of Major League Baseball. They spent
put all that money into the
1.6 million so far. They spent 1.2 million all of last year.
You know, and I'm going to tell you something. In the beer business, where it's billions of dollars in sales, that just doesn't seem like much money. 1.2 million over the course of an entire season in Major League Baseball just doesn't seem like much money.
No, it doesn't. More than 95% of the 5.7 million that Bud Light has spent on TV advertising so far this year has gone to sports. Major League Baseball commanding the biggest piece of that pie. I thought the next one was interesting. Almost $1 million spent on the NHL. NBA, about $600,000. That's it. Is that an indication that, at least to Budweiser or Anheuser-Busch, that the NBA is really no longer relevant to its beer drinking
I think it's
constituents?
Right. It's interesting also. Did you know the NBA is the only sport where the players aren't at odds with upper management? That is his name, Adam Silver, Mr. Silver. That's the commissioner.
I haven't seen too much.
They're very
hockey right now.
Hockey's not a sport. I mean, look, it goes NFL, MLB, NBA, and then the other sports, women's tennis, and then hockey, you know? What do you have? Go ahead.
Adam Sugar says, if you're Sally Field, I'm the bandit.
I'm not ripping my dress off in the Trans Am with you there, Adam.
Oh, let's rip the show off and get out of here for the weekend.
What did Kevin say? It was a Good Friday. Let's wrap it up.
Yep, that's exactly it.
You know, it's bad when Caleb's like, I'm doing all I can.
Come on, guys. Let's get this thing moving.
Thing up. Folks, it's after the top of the hour, which means it's like Saturday morning in Newfoundland.